Students love them, don't they? Don't they really like authentic videos? So this is a good reason for using them. Now, I'd like to quickly guide you through 6 things to consider when selecting authentic video materials. The first question of our quiz was about how to select this material. So, since this is a challenge, I'd like to offer you some tips. And the first one is for you to be sure you have the correct level. And perhaps this is the most challenging task, isn't it? Choosing material from the correct level for our students, so they don't feel all confused and what are they talking about? Who's familiar with the ideas for language acquisition of Stephen Krashen? Have you heard of Krashen before? Stephen Krashen?
The guy that talks about scaffolding.
Yeah, the guy that talks about scaffolding. Krashen. Krashen was probably the first person to put together the language acquisition theory. He's North American, and he's still alive. He looks like a grandpa, but he's still alive. He's almost 80. But he's lovely, sweet. Yeah. And he's lovely. He talks about the theory of, he talks about comprehensible input. What Krashen says is that in order to generate or to foster language acquisition, input must be comprehensible. So people need to understand what they're listening to, but it has to be I+1. And the what does the +1 mean? What is the +1 here? I+1, what's that? It looks like math, a polynomial.
A little bit of their level.
Ah, a little bit above their level. So input must be comprehensible, that's I. Input +1. The +1 is the level of challenge, which has to be a little bit above what they do. So it's I+1, not I+100, which is what happens sometimes with authentic material. A little bit. So if videos are too difficult for students, they don't get anything at all apart from the images. If it's too easy, they don't get anything at all either, right? Because they simply understand everything. There must be the right level of challenge in order to promote language acquisition. That's what Krashen says. That's what he talks about comprehensible input. Tip number 2. Bap, bap, bap. Warning! Contains potentially offensive content. Continue to scroll at your own risk. And that's what I would like to discuss with you. Okay? What would you consider potentially offensive content nowadays in the 21st century, 2017? Or even, first and foremost, do you agree with that? Can content be potentially offensive to anyone?
Yes, to some students, yes.
To some students. Do you all agree with that? Or no? So, no, videos cannot be offensive. You have to show everything. Anything. No? It's not. You have got to be careful. Why? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Students come from a different background.
Uh-huh. Students come from different backgrounds. What else? Refugees. So you gotta be careful when you're talking about minorities, right? It can't be an oppressive talk that ridicularizes who, for example? Any kind of people, right? So you gotta be careful when you deal with race, gender, religion, what else? Politics. Sports might be. Yeah. I call these topics minefield topics. Because you never know. You never know what you're going to get. I was once at a very progressist place for innovation. Progressive place. In a class about inclusion. And I felt so offended that day because people did not respect my point of view, right?
I knew a teacher who played I forgot the name,
Hangman?
Hangman.
Hangman, okay.
And there was a student, a refugee in the class. His father died hanged.
Oh, interesting. Her father has been hanged, yeah?
And it became a very sad situation.
Right. So there are all sorts of touchy subjects, right? Please.
I have a friend who is a teacher in a Jewish school.
Right.
And she's not Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
But when she is presenting any kind of a little bit of context by Machado de Assis or Jorge Amado, she has to show it before
Mm-hmm.
to the directory there or Peter to, how can I say, to use another kind of ink over it.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Sorry, because those are being prepared to be rabbis' slides.
I see. So there are all sorts of extreme cases, right? There are all sorts of situations, and content might be considered offensive to someone in different. So it's always a good idea to watch your videos beforehand, right? That's a given, I know. That's why I say, oh, let's same old. But have you ever been in a situation in which you did not watch the video before and it ended up not being the best thing in the world? I've been there. Sorry. Maybe it was just me. Now I can see some faces there agreeing. So, and you know what? Beware of music videos. I've done that. We're talking about listening, using videos. So okay, you prepare a listening task with a song, and then in the classroom you look and there is a computer, a projector. Say, wow, what a great idea. I'm going to show the music video. They will enjoy it. They don't listen to music. They watch music on YouTube. That's what they do these days. And then you play the music video, and all you want while the video is playing is that your coordinator does not walk by the hall, because it may not end up so well. So beware of music videos. Watch them beforehand, right? Just to make sure. And if you realize someone has been constrained, stop it immediately, right? If you see someone is making fun of other people, someone is feeling embarrassed, or oops, I hadn't realized that, stop it and move on. So tip number 2, check for offensive content. It might be offensive in case of video. 3, and David Crystal would love that, right? Show different cultures and Englishes. That's something else you can do when you deal with videos. You can expose students to a variety of accents. You can select examples of non-native English speakers as well. That's great. The whole idea of English as a lingua franca, which is very popular nowadays. There are many Englishes. And even California ducks have to be bilingual nowadays, right? Or have to speak in their own dialect. So he goes quack, and I'm like quack, quack, quack. You know? So we gotta, there are different accents and regional expressions and other things like that we can show through the use of authentic videos. By the way, I'm going to show you some video samples for you to illustrate that. Point number 4 is to use different genres as well. Some illustrations, but these are all movie genres. But I'm not only talking about movie genres, but think about oral text genres such as songs. Songs are a genre, right? They are written in a certain way, they have a certain format. Talk shows, interviews, series, movie trailers, and more. Expose students to a variety of different genres. We work for a publisher, Pearson, you may know, and it's interesting to see some materials in the market, as beautiful as they may be, right? They're beautiful, they look like magazines, but unfortunately, some of them deal only with one genre. For example, it's a book and it's all about TED Talks. It's only TED Talks from beginning to end. It's all about nature, and it's nature from beginning to end, right? And you lose the opportunity to exposing students to different genre, exposing them to comedy videos and to perhaps some animations, and showing interviews and showing containing songs and things like that, right? So variety is always better. And J.J. Wilson, on his How to Teach Listening book, the new edition came out in 2011, and he listed the general benefits for using each of these oral genres, like television, radio news, film clips, film trailers, television advertisements. He talks about the general benefits and the linguistic features that each different genre develops. So if you expose students to a variety of genres, chances are they will develop different skills, and they will have different kinds of benefits. And documentaries, even animations, right? Storyline, they're good for predictions. They are unambiguous. They have dialogue-free pauses. Lots of time. They contain very little language, except for The Simpsons. That's what JJ says there, right?
Can I take a picture?
Oh, definitely. Of course. They might have JJ's book here if you look for it. It's How to Teach Listening from
Might
Pearson.
just go back one.
No, not at all. You can definitely take a picture, right? So every kind of genre, every kind of video you play has its benefits. No, no problem.
Nice.
Yeah, I think.
Type on Google and just see what comes up.
Yeah, what comes up? Yeah, How to Teach Listening by J.J. Wilson. Right. Now we're getting there to the fifth tip, and then we'll move on to the videos, right? To the most practical part of our workshop. It's a good idea to vary the type of activities, right? Have different tasks for them. Sometimes when we think about using songs, for example, all that comes to our minds is the fill in the blanks activity. Same old, but we can do something different. We can have them make prediction, listening for the main idea, for details, infer meaning, focus on language, express their opinions, which is perfect for 21st century education, right? For critical thinking. So vary the type of activities. And besides that, remember to organize your the stages of the lesson in a logical order. It's not because it's a video that you can tell students. It's not because it's an authentic video. You can say, okay, guys, now we're going to watch a movie, okay? Shut up and watch it. There is also a way of doing that, and perhaps this is one suggested order that one of our materials already brings. There is a before watching session. So you will generate interest, raise their interest. You can use a reading or a discussion, a reading passage or discussion for that. You may decide to pre-teach vocabulary or not. Some people will be really radically against pre-teaching vocabulary. I personally believe pre-teaching vocabulary can help you in the scaffolding process, can help you achieve the I+1 that Krashen says, making a text that would be incomprehensible to be understandable by people. If they can understand keywords of that text, they can benefit a lot from the whole thing in a way that they wouldn't. What? It may save time as well. And perhaps the most important thing, to give students a focus question. This is another thing Pennier says in Teaching, Listening, Comprehension. She says that whenever we listen to something in real life, there is usually a reason for listening. Even when, she says that usually we listen and respond in real life. But even when we're listening to the number of our flight in the airport when we're late to see if it's boarding or not, there is a reason. We're expected to do something with that information. So there is a focus question, a reason to focus. It's not only, okay, watch this, and then you ask them questions. No. So there is the why watching moment, in which you will check their predictions. You may want them think, pair, share. Are you all familiar with this model of think, pair, share?
No.
How does that work? Do you teach mostly one-to-one, or anyone here teach groups? One-to-one. One-to-one. Does anyone here teach groups of students?
Yes.
You teach groups as well? Think, pair, share could be, especially in listening activities. You know, when you have a group and you ask a question and one person answers all questions, and then everybody gets the right answer, nobody has the opportunity to talk. If you use think, pair, share, that person who is more quiet, first thing you do is to have students think. Okay, that they have watched, and then they will think about the answer. Okay, don't say it yet, don't shout. Think. Then pair up. So pair, share with the person next to you, and then share it in the large group. And that helps students who are shy to be encouraged by have an opportunity to talk without having a spoiler, right? Shouting the answer.
Think alone, share with the pair here, and then
Yeah, think, pair, and share. Yeah, think, pair, and then share. Right? They can listen again for details. And there is the after watching as well. Well, now on this Teacher's Day, I'd like to show you, our Teacher's Day, right? 5 days after. Going back a little bit. Okay, the order of the activities. Before, while, and watching. Most of you probably do it in this way, right? Did it work, Julio? Okay. Now, I'd like to show you some examples and some resources you can use in your classes, right? If you think it's